This my destiny, this my birthright patience. It take patience. You can't turn time, bless me. All the blessings me, front of your eye, testing me. God that testing me, we gon' make it our destiny. This my destiny, this my birthright patience. It take patience, can't turn time, bless me. All the blessings me, front of your eye, testing me. God that testing me, we gon' make it our. I'm winning the race. That's probably why it feel like I'm running away. You gotta right those wrongs. I'm stuck in the game. One foot on their neck, one foot in the grave. And still life goes on. I'm traveling Bay, I'm fit for a tour. I'll be back in May. You gotta play your part. Grateful of this day, blessed to be in this game. Plus the money is great. So I write these songs.
Smells like fresh tarmac. It's got to be redone.
Have they resurfaced it, dude?
Yeah.
Do you smell that?
Yeah, go on, this gate's open. Smells beautiful, man.
Oh, I love that smell.
How many times have you been in?
This is probably my third time. I rarely ever come here to start off.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll come here after the end of the ride and
See
just
how
hit a couple laps. Like, it's cool, man. It's definitely a head fuck.
New bike. Well, new frame. Oh, different colour this side.
Is it changing, morphing colour?
Yeah, it's like, now it's brown.
It's a shapeshifter, bro. The integrity of it was compromised. The chainstay had a fat, like, maybe, what's that?
How did you notice it?
What is that? Talk to me in mil. We talk in mils. What's that? It's probably a mil,
50 mil. No.
What do you 50 mil, cuz? What do you mean 50 mil?
Okay, 50 mil's 5
We're meant to be professional labourers, dude. Yeah, it's 5 mil. One day my mate, shouts to Kim, he was just like, dude, what the fuck's that? And I was like, I never even noticed that. What happened was there's a bolt on the other side of the chainring. It's almost like that, the bolt became, certain scenarios happened where the scenario made that happen to inflict the 5 mil wound on the seat stay.
Okay.
That's key. When I was riding the old bike, you remember that, right? It sounded like a washing machine, dude, that has like some sort of
bearing.
Like you left your mobile phone in the fucking washing machine, it's like that. Yeah. And then someone turns the washing machine off and you're like, ooh.
Yeah. You didn't realise it was the
silent.
noise until
That's
it's gone.
what silence is?
Yeah.
Dude, when I'm riding this bike, it's like fucking peaceful. The amount of times I shat on that bike, I was shitting so much on that bike, like I'd look at the saddle and I'd just be shit on the saddle, man. Jess used to disinfect it. This is my grip. Hit him with this grip. They see this grip?
What's this grip called?
Sometimes I'll go out, bro, and I'll think to myself, I'm gonna work on relaxing my face and grip. And you have no idea how much gains there is in just that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll go out and I'll be like, why am I so tired? Fucking like this, you know. I come back and my fucking jaw hurts, bro. I would notice the relationship in riding where if my body was in a tense state, you know, you're not like, oh, I'm fucking relaxed, you know what I mean? That doesn't really produce any sort of relaxed mindset. Like there was a connection there. So even if I was feeling mentally unstable at the time, I would look to what I can do immediately and I'd go, what am I doing with my body? And a lot of the time I'd just be flexed so tight, jaw clenched up. Yeah. And I'd be like, well, that's probably not helping. That's probably exacerbating the situation. So straight away, I would relax my face. Get the grip and almost think to myself, how good can I make that feel? And you would be fucking surprised with how good you can make this feel. I had a ring at the time and I always told myself, when I put this pinky on this ring, it's game on. Like that's when I never did it. I was just like, it's not necessary. It'll probably fucking float off into the cosmos.
Yeah.
Dude, so what you do in training? I'm training my face.
Yeah.
To be as relaxed as possible.
Yeah. That's what the 4 hours in the saddle.
Yeah, well,
really
huge. You know, that's huge for me. Is to get to a level where I think, okay, this is kind of uncomfortable. I never say good and bad. That never works out. You don't want to get trapped in that relationship of this is good, this is bad, because you get into this perpetual seeking for the situation to be different, and you find a lot of the time you're wasting energy just trying to assess whether it's going to be a good ride or a bad ride. Straight away, I go, this is how it is. This is the ride. These are the sensations I'm feeling. I impute my perceptions on these sensations, or impute what I think what they are, whether they be good or bad, and I'm just going to remove that, fuck that all off. This is how they are, and then learn to just be relaxed with whatever they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, it's less about FTP, and that's just what the fuck's FTP mean?
How does your face feel?
Who knows what FTP is today? What's your FTP, bro?
I don't know.
Come here, come close, I'll tell them. When I look at cycling as a skill, and just being able to endure as a skill in cycling, I was at my worst when FTP meant something to me. Maybe I'll cut that out because that's a bit conspiracy theorist. I've never been in a difficult situation and thought to myself, I'm gonna endure this with my FTP.
Yeah.
There's no white line anymore. Just the slightest degree up in neck angle
Yeah.
is like wreaks havoc. If I just look a few centimeters above my hands, like how comfortable that is. But as soon as I go, like just that,
Yeah.
it's insane how much more not painful, stressful on the neck it is. I've tried this position here. It's never felt comfortable for me. From having a background in training, that these muscles are a bit, they're strong enough to support that.
Yeah.
But it's funny, the more cycling I've done and been in that position, the more uncomfortable it's become because those muscles have gotten weaker.
Yeah.
So now I've got to try and maintain those muscle groups, which becomes a bit of a challenge once the training gets to a certain load.
Yeah.
You've got to be more particular about your energy management. That's been a big key for me. 20 hours a week on the bike and then train 15 hours in the gym and just be an absolute fucking Superman. I'll do that for 1 week and I'll be like, get me a wheelchair. I've been constipated for a month. I would always say, generally what's hard is the most rewarding. Kind of just like what you're scared, move towards.
Yeah.
For me, it would get to a point where what's hard becomes resting. What's hard becomes doing less. But I found I'm more effective if I follow suit. Because at some point I go, what's the fucking point? No, I'm serious. I'm like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
I know that doing this session is not going to benefit me. It's going to hinder me. And is that what I'm about, being delusional? Why am I trying to do a workout right now? What am I holding on to? I haven't done curls in like 2 years. You know how good it feels?
Yeah.
You know how good it feels for me to lose size on my arm and just watch them deteriorate and go, this don't mean nothing. And I still catch myself sometimes in that kind of self-sabotaging behavior where it's full cog D type shit. On one hand, I'm saying I want to be better, but my actions don't marry up. I want to be better, but then I'm actively participating in things that make me worse. Why? And it's so simple. Because I give a fuck about what cunts think about me. Because I give a fuck about the way I look. I tell myself I don't give a fuck about the way I look, but then I find myself flexing in the mirror. But then you catch me doing training sessions that I shouldn't be doing, that are making me worse. Because you have a certain model of who you think you are, and if you don't feel like you're representing that model, there's disunity, there's disharmony. It's nice when I feel now when I come to this level of training where it starts getting up, where you have to make those choices where it's like anything that's unnecessary, fuck it off. It's a good system to drag across to everything else.
Yeah,
because I find myself sitting there sometimes, nuts and I'm sitting at home like trashed out, going, this is karma. You drink water, you take a piss.
Yeah.
This is, I deserve this. Like, I brought this upon myself, no one else. God didn't bring it upon me. You know what I mean? Jake didn't bring it upon me. The audience didn't bring it upon me. I've been out here doing shit. I've been self-harmed. Like, I don't want to think it's simple. I don't want to think to myself, oh, you give a fuck about the way you look. You're still at the bottom of the pyramid, lad. I don't want to accept that. But then when I really sit there and fuck it all off, I'm like, nah, that bit in you is still there. But for me, it's key that it stays down there. That I say, yeah, I know you're there, but you stay there. Especially now coming into this environment of the Gold Coast. It's funny.
Because that side
it's
of
funny.
that
side of me that has
side
of me that's laid dormant. It hasn't barked up for so long.
And
now when it's in an environment that it can thrive in, it barks up again. And it says, hey, man, just eat a little bit less. Do another training session. Do one set of curls. Do one set of curls. I'm like, cunt, I'm starving you. Haven't you realised yet? I'm starving you. It's so funny, man. But you don't want to be doing full circles around the block and end up exactly where you started, you know? And that was key for me coming into this training cycle, especially here, is like, you have to start making decisions that are really in your best interest. You can trick yourself. It's like saying I care about old people to make sure I steal all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Let me hoard all the beans. It's like being on a lie detector test. You say, I'm not lying, but it's like reading off the fucking charts. Where were we going with that? We went from neck to hedges ab to fucking doing bicep curls to liberating yourself from your identity and the intertwinement with the physique.
Yeah, it's not the world that we live in.
Having a peak physique is, we glorify that like that's the...
Yeah.
And that's what I'm so fortunate about, man, is that all those years I was actually deep in that physique world. We went deep into that and I got to see the reality of it. Just the truth of it, man. Hard for me to accept that having a dope physique doesn't make you feel good. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean you have a dope physique, you're gonna have a dope quality of life. You have a dope mind, you have a dope quality of life. Because the physique, where does it exist? You know, I used to wake up and shit and flex. Like, I'd be trying to ascertain if I'm gonna have a good day based on a set of parameters. As in, okay, if I'm about to flex, if I can see one line there, I'm gonna have a killer day. I'm riding. If I can see good power, I'm about to have a killer day. How temperamental, man.
Yeah.
You're walking that fucking tightrope. And 9 times out of 10, you're not falling to the good side. Well, that's just being human, having an emotional curve of a yo-yo. No, dude. That's not being well, I refuse to accept that. Because a part of me is calling out saying, no, there's better than this. But oftentimes, to arrive at better than this, you've got to go where you don't want to go. It reminds me of when I was a kid, I'd see an attractive girl at the checkout line, and I'd be torn in this battle, like, but then I realized, I was like, what are you really about? You know, like, I needed to work on my communication skills. How can I say that in the same breath and then go to the self-serve?
Yeah.
So I go straight to her. I brought that up because the other day I was in the supermarket and I was just thinking, like, the opportunities are everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The opportunities to work on what you want to work on are absolutely fucking everywhere.
What's the plan?
So originally, I've always had an affinity for 24-hour rides. Like, a lot of people remember, you know, we used to ride to Adelaide, and then it was always this thing, like, on the last day we would try and do 24 hours, and I used to think to myself, oh, if I can just crack 500k. Like, if we can just, and it used to be the most wild shit, man. I'd see Joey in front of me, fucking rubbing hands down his ass, shoving cream up his shit, sun setting. I'm in a skateboard fucking helmet. At that stage, I was operating, like, I was finding good performance, trying to escape the situation mentally. I'm at home on the couch, like, with the aircon on, and, like, I would put myself in that mentality, and I'd be like, oh, this is kind of relaxing. You know, that was my stage back then, which is different to now, because now I realise that there's no escape. That was the start of the 24-hour thing for me. And then, you know, Australia, long distance, whatever, fucking America, all that kind of shit. I'm gonna keep training, and I thought, why not do a 24-hour event? The same reason to do a 24-hour ride and not film it is not valid anymore for me. Right. It's actually the reverse. So back then I needed not to film the 24-hour ride. It wasn't what I should have done relative to my understanding. What you need to do is bear witness to your actions. That's what it matters, not other fucking people. So put the camera away. But you see, now it's come back and those excuses don't fit anymore. Where it's like, now it's like I should be sharing it with dudes. And I can handle sharing it and it won't affect me the same way. So I thought, all right, cool, there's a 24-hour World Time Trial Championships in America. I thought that would be sick. And then one day I was sitting, I just had this epiphany moment. It was almost just like, woof. I was like, why the fuck am I going to America to do a 24-hour event? I'm shooting too low. I'm shooting too fucking low. I found myself doing the same shit I thought I outgrew, like chopping my own feet off. I was like, why the fuck don't you attempt the world record? And then I'd be like, nah, it's too quick. Did you just say it's too quick?
Too out of reach.
Like, it's too out of reach. That's the only reason I wouldn't go for it, because I would be scared if I failed. And then I was like, do you fucking hear yourself? You're definitely going to fail not attempting it. And I don't want to be breathing no fucking oxygen knowing that I didn't attempt to do what I wanted to do. That is the ultimate failure. So I was like, I'm going for the world record now. Just boom, in 10 seconds. But the dude who went for he's a gold medalist. And then the other dude is a pro triathlete. So you can see how this train of thought goes, well, I'm just this, and I am that, and I am that. And I'm like, fuck the whole sentence off and just say I am. Now it's a possibility again. Once I reworked the origin of that doubt, all the reasons why it could be possible started to spring up.
What is the record?
What
are we going for?
I've heard rumours of this Christoph Strasser, this amazing Belgian dude doing 9:10. But I know an Australian dude who's got the record. He says 8:96. So I think it's somewhere between 8:96 and 9:10. I'm now shifted into the state where when I say that, it's not like what I used to say. I used to say like 9:10. Oh my god! And when I really said that, I was saying to myself, like, it's so fucking far out of reach.
Whereas now it's like 9:10. 9:10.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's like saying I have to go for a bike ride and I get to go for a bike ride.
Yeah.
Do you feel me?
Yeah.
So when I say it now, there's a different level of belief in it, which is exciting for me. So I'm backtracking now. What does that look like? Like, what's the speed? The speed's like 38 point something. 30 kilometers used to be hard.
Yeah.
Like you were saying. I remember trying to average 25 in a 24-hour ride, and that was fucking revolutionary. And then going to 27, and then 30, and then being like, all right, now we're just going to average that on the first day of a 2-week bike ride, going up half time, starting out shitting our fucking pants.
It's what becomes the new normal.
And this is the same leap.
But how do you think you'll find going from 2-week events to 1 day? Like, that's a big... It's not like 2 weeks to 1 week.
Who knows, bro? I don't know.
Yeah.
But who knows? I could be suited for it.
Yeah, you could be...
I might not be suited for 2 weeks. I might be a one-day top dude. I don't know, man. I've never done it. I could be an Ironman, bros.
Yeah.
That's not arrogant. That's just saying, how do you know what you don't know? That's what's exciting about it. It's like, I'm about to fucking find out.
How far off are we?
Hopefully by the end of the year or start of next year. We've got to wait for the wind to be decent. Ideally low winds.
Because this is another thing that you're going to have maybe more... Maybe not more... But maybe more scientifically approach to than just, I'm just going to keep riding my bike. There is other stuff that's maybe out
I don't
of
want
your...
to overload the information, you know what I mean, too hard, because that's never really worked out well for me. I think there's going to have to be a large application on, like, what's the weather doing. There's so much shit goes crazy, you know what I mean? Fucking air density. Like, the most... But that's not my department. That'll be relegated to someone else who's an expert.
Yeah.
And it's cool now, because it's the only time that this could have happened probably for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have those dudes in my life back then. Like, I didn't have you. I didn't have Shane. I didn't have Simone. I didn't have, everyone that will come together to make this thing happen. We're going to give you, and I'm going to give myself, the best opportunity to see how I perform. And that's what's exciting about it. That at the end of it, I'm not going to be able to say, oh, it's because the tarmac in that position wasn't smooth enough. I didn't pick the best day for wind. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
You
No
know
excuses.
now, bro. Rest
The excuses
easy.
box
You
is
can
empty.
fucking rest easy at night knowing. I want to try and see if we can blend it all together and still perform at a higher level. Is that possible? Do you need to be there, like, weighing everything to the gram and looking at your power and going, what's your intensity factor?
Yeah.
I gotta do.
FTP.
I gotta do.
Yeah.
Not I get to fucking do.
Yeah.
We're training for it now, which is cool. But it's like, we've been training our whole lives for it. I rode across Australia for this. So, and America. Every single thing, dude. I was eating white bread sandwiches when I was fucking 8 for it. That's it.